Let me tell you something I've learned after years of just watching people in silence. The ones who don't talk too much often know the most. They sit quietly while the rest of the world fills the air with noise. But they're not absent. They're observing. They're not shy. They're calculating, and they're not cold. They're protecting something sacred, their energy, their peace, and their understanding of the world. Silence, contrary to what many believe, isn't empty. It's full of everything others overlook, every glance, every tone, every flicker in someone's eyes. To the quiet ones, words are expensive, and they spend them carefully. If you've ever been called too quiet, remember this: that quietness isn't a flaw. It's a form of wisdom that the loud rarely understand. The psychology behind people who don't talk much is layered, deep, and often misunderstood. For them, silence isn't a lack of thought. It's the presence of too many thoughts all at once. Quiet people rarely speak unless what they say truly matters. Their minds don't just process their words, they analyze everything around those words. Who's listening, how it will sound, what meaning lies beneath. It's not overthinking, it's emotional intelligence in motion. Psychologists have found that people who talk less tend to have higher levels of self-awareness. They reflect before they react. They don't lack emotion. They feel so deeply that words often fail to express what's going on inside. Yet the world we live in celebrates noise. It rewards confidence that's loud and personalities that fill a room. But quiet people know something powerful, that volume doesn't equal depth, and that the truest words often don't need to be said at all. In every room, there's always that one person who doesn't say much, but when they do, everyone listens. That's not a coincidence. That's respect earned through silence. Silence builds presence, and presence builds gravity. Quiet people operate differently. They notice what others miss. The trembling of hands, the hesitation in speech, the shift in energy when someone enters a room. They read between the lines of human behavior. It's not magic. It's heightened observation. When you talk less, your mind sharpens. You begin to hear what isn't said and feel what others try to hide. That gives you a certain power, not the kind that controls, but the kind that understands. However, being quiet doesn't always mean being calm inside. For many, silence is a shield that contains chaos. A quiet person might seem peaceful, but inside, their mind is a storm of thoughts, memories, and emotions all colliding. That's why they pause before speaking. They're searching for harmony before they make a sound. Psychologists suggest that such people often have higher levels of introversion, which isn't about anxiety. It's about energy management. They recharge through solitude and find comfort in stillness because too much noise drains them. To them, words are like paint on a canvas, used carefully, purposefully, and only when needed. Sometimes that silence comes from a deeper place, from a childhood of being misunderstood, or from experiences where speaking up led to rejection. Over time, silence becomes their safety. They learn that people often listen to reply, not to understand, so they just listen instead. This becomes not just a habit, but a form of self-protection. In psychology, it is sometimes called adaptive silence, a defense mechanism where the nervous system learns that speaking less keeps you safe. Over time, it becomes part of your identity. That's why quiet people often appear mysterious. They've spent years fine-tuning their inner world, and not everyone gets access to it. Their boundaries aren't walls, they're filters, allowing only those who truly listen to enter. But within that silence lies an extraordinary strength, the ability to think before reacting. In a world obsessed with instant opinions, that's a superpower. People who talk less tend to have greater emotional regulation. They can feel anger, excitement, or pain, yet still choose calm. That's not weakness, that's mastery. Many of history's greatest thinkers and creators were quiet observers first. Silence gave them the space to connect ideas that others couldn't see, because silence births insight. Stillness breeds creativity. Truth can't be heard in chaos, only in quiet. Yet in today's world, silence can feel uncomfortable. People rush to fill every pause with words. And when you don't, they might call you weird or distant. But maybe silence isn't a lack of rhythm. Maybe it's a higher one, a rhythm that listens before it speaks. Quiet people connect deeply when they finally do speak. Their words carry thought, empathy, and truth. Studies even show that introspective and quiet people have higher brain activity in areas linked to empathy and self-reflection. Their silence isn't emptiness, it's processing. But this deep awareness comes with a cost. Quiet people often absorb the emotions of those around them, the tension, the sadness, the energy of a room. That's why solitude feels so healing to them. It's not loneliness, it's an emotional detox. And when quiet people love, they love deeply. They don't do small talk, they do meaning. They don't express themselves often, but when they do, it's sincere, it's rare, and it stays with you. Yet silence also has a shadow. Some use it as a form of control, to protect their vulnerability, to avoid being misunderstood. They hide in plain sight, torn between wanting to connect and needing to protect themselves. Inside, they carry an ache, the gap between what they feel and what they can say. Still, through that silence, they develop profound wisdom. They learn that not everything needs to be spoken to be understood. They see life's subtleties, the sigh before someone gives up, the sparkle in someone's eyes when they talk about love, the tremor in a voice pretending to be strong. Silence makes them both wise and fragile, able to sense deeply, yet burdened by that awareness. But maybe that's the price of depth, to see the world more clearly, even when it hurts. Quiet people are grounding forces. They bring calm where others bring chaos. They remind the world that truth doesn't need to shout. So next time you meet someone who doesn't talk much, don't assume they have nothing to say. Maybe they're simply measuring the moment, listening more than they speak, or trying to understand you in ways you don't even notice. And if you're one of those quiet ones, know this: the world needs you. Your silence balances its noise. Your stillness restores its sanity. You don't have to speak loudly to be powerful. Your silence is not emptiness, it's wisdom in disguise. Because words explain thoughts, but silence reveals truth. And truth doesn't always need to be spoken to be felt. Silence is where life breathes between the words, and where the deepest kind of wisdom lives. Thank you so much for watching. If this resonated with you, let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more content that explores the deeper side of life. See you next time.